Think about the narrative he just put out there, right? If you're a company
Yes.
that's sitting on the sideline
Yes.
right now going, we would really like to be involved with Bitcoin, but we're going to wait for a little more regulatory clarity on things. We want to figure out the tax treatment on it. And then this dude flies out of the skies and says, I'm going to buy with 42 billion over the next 3 years. And you're going, wait a second, right? Like, that's really significant. And he's telling everyone out there in the corporate world, train's leaving the station. You're not going to be early for that much longer because we're not going to let that happen, right? They're taking over. He's not looking to coast here. That should be so clear at this point, that this is a guy that is pressing this hard, right? He wants the Bitcoin, and he's going to generate the demand if he has to do it himself. I mean, just look at the success, right? People will follow success ultimately. You can only ignore it as this fad for so long. But when you looked at their bonds outperforming Bitcoin, that is a wild stat, right? Bonds are not supposed to outperform new assets that are just hitting their S-curve in the adoption, right? I mean, that's not supposed to happen, but it's been happening. And so anyone who thinks that they're out of demand for convertible bonds, that guy's going to get 100 phone calls tomorrow from convertible bond arbitrageurs going, you got 5 billion coming out next year. How do I get them? How do I get them now? Right? Like, they want him. He's always oversubscribed. So I think this is such a strong message to send to everybody out there that's sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect time, that you can't wait anymore. You got the ETFs, saylor's coming for you, get in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he just reduced the risk for everybody too, right? Like, there's a $42 billion buy. Everybody's going to try to front run it, but there's no incentive to sell the front run. You need to beat him. And he just told you, I'm going to buy $42 billion worth of Bitcoin. Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
A quick excerpt on what's happening with MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor's committing to buying $42 billion. We'll take a look at the MicroStrategy price and what's been going on in the latest and what we expect in the upcoming weeks and months. Before we get to any of that, make sure to go check out our link tree. You can find this on our Twitter here below, and our link tree has all the official Bitcoin Bros links that you ever will want. If you want to check out our official Bitcoin Bros website, once again, it's Bitcoin Bros 101. We also have all our learning ebooks for sale, courses, social links, and join our premium Patreon pass if you want to become a part of the Bitcoin Bros community. MicroStrategy tracker. Looking at MicroStrategy, the current time is recording is $45.187 billion. Major gains over the last year. Have you been on the MicroStrategy train? Looking at the MicroStrategy divided by Bitcoin price, we're looking at 0.328. We looked at this chart before. We got some more time to go, at least 80 to 100% growth MicroStrategy against Bitcoin. The NAV premium is right at 2.6. Bitcoin per share right now is at 0.001245. MicroStrategy, current time is recording, is coming in at 222 at the close of the market. Post-market price, you're looking at 224. But what do we see? What do we anticipate? So what we anticipate, we're looking at the MicroStrategy price. We see the Gaussian channel flipped from red to green. We're looking at this on the daily. So you see this horizontal line that we've hit our head on quite a few times. Once we broke through it, that was a fake out, came back down, retested the bottom line of the Gaussian channel, came back up and retested those levels twice. Third time's the charm. Nope, we got rejected. The Gaussian actually flipped red and then broke up and retest the Gaussian. And we held this level right here. And then look at the 20 moving average curling up as well. And look what happened. We just came back and kissed this 20 average almost perfectly. So as long as this level holds here, we zoom into this price action, take a closer look, we can see the 20 moving average is sitting right at 217. So if we see the 20 moving average, if we come down lower, it could be down to this 217 range. We could bounce right off of this before we have a continuation. Zooming out, looking at the RSI, do we see any divergence? So we've seen a peak here, and we put in a high. We see another peak here. We put in a higher high. We see another peak here, overbought territory. We put in a higher high. So it's just higher highs and higher lows. Now, this could be considered a low here, and whenever this stops, that'll be considered a low. But if we come back in and put in something like this before coming out, we put in a higher price action, that's when you'll see that divergence, because if this comes up, and puts in a higher price above the previous all-time high around 267, we come up to say 350, and we put in a price action like this, then that might be, some type of top signal. But if we don't do that and we have a continuation to the upside and we put in even a higher high, we want to wait till we see that divergence. That's for sure. An update from Ben Workman. Shout out to him. He tracks this almost every day as the MicroStrategy price moves. And this is start of business today, 11/4. You're seeing MicroStrategy at number 75, and it's holding that 75th spot, actually 74, due to Google taking up 2 spots, which is currently hold a $525 million inflow from the top 3 funds. No real movement, but you can see that MicroStrategy is still in the NASDAQ 100 tracker. It's still on pace. So as long as MicroStrategy holds and continues to do what it's doing, it's going to definitely be listed at some point, within the near future. So you got to just look at that as another bullish catalyst for MSTR. And then look at this here. This is the MicroStrategy IBIT chart on the 4-hour. Shout out to Kenny.eth. And what you see is, as you see here, there's a time you want to be in MicroStrategy when this is going up, and there's time to be in IBIT when this is going down. Well, look here. This channel has been respected. It came up, didn't quite make it up there again, but we're retesting the bottom of this channel right now, same way we did right here. So now it could be time to switch back into MSTR. Looking at Bitcoin, the orange token, because Bitcoin controls the market, you want to know what Bitcoin is doing. This is the daily chart we're paying attention to. And why is this important? Because look at this range. This range has based out, and we actually got into it back in February of this year, and then just broke above it back in October of this year, so last month. So you're looking at, from February to October, you're looking at roughly 8 months of sideways price action, just trading in this channel, and actually had a few wick downs. Then we started to put higher highs and higher lows in, and look what happened. Let's get rid of our Gaussian channel. As you see, the Gaussian channel did flip green, which is definitely bullish. We retested that middle line, double bottomed out of it, came back down and retested the 20 moving average. Everything looks bullish. But if we zoom in, if we get rid of this and just look at the moving averages, we can see that, let's zoom into the price action, we can see that we had this 20 moving average cross above the 50 and 200, and we've been respecting it. But look what Bitcoin did. Bitcoin fell below this 20. Does that mean the fun is over with yet? No, this could be a fake out. We could get back above it. We want to hold this level here, the 66.2K range. We definitely want to pay attention to that and hold this level, because if we come back into this channel, we could then fall all the way back down into the 50s. That's something to be wary of. Right now we're below the 20 moving average, but back here we're below the 20 moving average as well. We came back above it. Look at the RSI below. The RSI's trend is your friend to the end. We've been stair-stepping our way up from this RSI right now, and you see every time we test this, we actually were below the 20. But then when we came back up, we get back above it and put in newer highs. And looking at the peaks, we see a peak here, corresponds with this peak here, a peak here, corresponds with this peak here, a peak here, corresponds with this peak here, and then a higher peak here. This corresponds with this peak here. So as you see, we're still putting in higher highs and higher lows, just stepping our way up. And right now, these lows have been holding. Right now, being an optimal buy entry. Right now, Bitcoin's at $68,000. So if we come back up once again and put a higher high in, this is going to put a massive run up to the upside. And we're holding above previous resistance. As you see, we hit our head on that resistance multiple times. The same way MicroStrategy did, Bitcoin did the same thing. So keep that in mind. With that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate each and every one of you. With that, I'm out.